Hey everybody, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I'm streaming live now from YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Hi everybody. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. This is Kendall Anise, your fave life coach, the remix coach. Let's go. All right, so a lot is going on in June. First and foremost, my birthday was last week. So that went on in June. And so many different things are going on in June, the beginning of summer. We're celebrating a lot of things. But June is Black Music Month. And hi, everybody, welcome in. So June is Black Music Month. And I typically I have a show on YouTube. Many don't know so much on YouTube. That's why you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a show called Underrated. And I would say it's similar to Unsung, but not. So I celebrate some of the music industry legends that may have had one hit, may have had 3 hits, or may have had a plethora of hits and they don't get the recognition they need. So that's called Underrated on my YouTube channel. You can check that out. So this will be under that playlist as well. And last year I did a lot of girl groups. I did SWV, I did Jade, which I was a part of Jade. That's a whole nother story. I did the group Shy. So many different things. I even did CeCe Peniston, and CeCe Peniston saw it and reached out and said, thank you. She was the first person I did. I love me some CeCe Peniston. Who loves CeCe Peniston? But she saw it, and I was appreciative of that, celebrating, the contribution. So today, I just wanted to talk about the Soul Train impact in the 80s. And I wanted to talk about 80s bands like Midnight Star, SOS Band, New Edition, and so many other ones. So I want to celebrate Black Music Month in that way. I know we're coming close to the end, and we're celebrating a lot of things, but I didn't want to forget to give my contribution, because Black music has been the soundtrack of my life in many occasions. Hello, my shirt says made in the 70s. I was made in the 70s. I was created in the 70s and born in the 70s, right? So in the 80s, I was a child who was influenced in the 70s and 80s actually by rap, when rap music just came out, and a lot of the bands in the 80s. So let's just talk about for a moment the impact of Soul Train. Now, that's one of the things is, if you know. Solar Records. Come on, T Price. You know where I'm going. Shalimar has Solar Records. Come on now. That's well, let me just clear. So Solar Records was, and I'm doing this by memory because T Price just brought it up. That was Don Cornelius, and was it Clarence Avant, or was it Dick Griffey? I think it was Dick Griffey. And they combined their efforts with Soul Train and the business side and had Solar Records. Absolutely. So let's talk about the Soul Train impact. First of all, I'm gonna put your comment up. All right. Yeah. So I'm on YouTube also, so you'll see the comments. And if you have comments, thank you. Thank you, Chloe's Dream. Yep, my birthday. I'm 53 years young. So I know a little bit about music. But okay, so Soul Train. So in the 80s, now I'm going to paint the picture. Those that know, if you grew up in the 80s and in junior high school and high school, then you understand. So I'm gonna school some of you youngins, if you just heard about Soul Train, or you started watching Soul Train when Shamar Moore was the host on Soul Train. We're not talking about when they had the new guests and they were trying out the guests. We're talking about, excuse me, I'm talking about when Soul Train was all the way live. Now, it started in the 70s, and I watched it in the 70s, but the 80s, y'all, was my plateau of Soul Train. That's right, Sheila. Every Saturday at 11, in some areas at noon. And the reason why I know it was noon, because I'm gonna take y'all way back. So in the 80s, we had the big TV in the living room. Yeah, we had TVs in the room, or they were the small ones, or no TVs in the bedrooms. But the big TV, the family TV, was in the living room. And my younger brother wanted to watch wrestling. Now, y'all know that came on Saturday mornings as well. And I wanted to watch Soul Train. And I'm 6.5 years older than him. So I would be pulling rank like we got to watch Soul Train. Yes, the big box TV. That's right. I call it now the big butt TV. And with the picture tube in it and all that, it was no flat screens, flat backs, none of that, right? And I wanted to watch Soul Train, and I'd be going down the Soul Train line. I mean, Soul Train, come on. People still doing Soul Train lines at Black events all the time. Not even Black events. Even other nationalities are doing the Soul Train line. People that have never watched Soul Train like that are doing, let's do a Soul Train line. Woo! You know what I'm saying? Let's see, my favorite Soul Train theme song was O'Brien's version. Yes, Soul Train is coming. And that's Black music right there. All of the was it O'Brien or Orion? Was it O'Brien or Orion? Why am I thinking O'Brien? Yes. And that Soul Train theme song already. And then you have the vision of these Black folks dancing. They all like this. Hey, hey. They coming down the Soul Train like pop, pop. They're getting it. And you couldn't wait to see your favorite people. Y'all know the Asian girl with the long hair all the way down her butt. You know the ladies with the hat that went like this. You know Louis that used to be dancing behind New Edition. He ended up going on tour with New Edition. Being, you know, one of their men, or I want to say not dancer, but roadies or whatever, but they travel with them a lot. So many people have made Jody Watley, my girl. Shout out to Jody Watley. That's my girl. We talk. But she started on Soul Train, and Shalimar was created with Solar Records, as you talked about, with Soul Train. But so many bands came across Soul Train, and Don Cornelius really was ahead of his game. This was a local show that he had in Chicago that became, when he came to LA, it was worldwide, and it was the hippest trip in America. And we watched Soul Train, and we were influenced. We wanted to dance. We wanted to be on Soul Train. Now, I was on a show in the 80s when I was like 14, 15 years old called Dancing on Air. It was live out of Philadelphia, and then it went to the USA Network, and it was nationwide. And I danced on TV, but I didn't dance on Soul Train. You know, we've seen that Vivica Fox danced on Soul Train, and so many people started their career. The Good Girls, y'all remember them from the 80s. Come on now, singing groups from the 80s. They started their career from Soul Train, and so many Soul Train women were in all the videos. Now we're talking the 80s, right? Where music videos were everything. Like everything. It wasn't no YouTube. Let me go see what this. We would sit down at MTV, BET, VH1, and we wanted to see the latest music videos. That was everything. So y'all remember in the 80s, some of them same women were rotated in everybody's videos, from Freddie Jackson to Luther Vandross to Lionel Richie to all of these people. It was the same one. Jeffrey Daniels Jeffrey Daniels dance. He started the moonwalk. He taught it to Michael Jackson. He saw it. People don't know that came from Soul Train. Rerun, the pop locking, and also Beach Street. You know, the pop lockers and all of that. That's Soul Train, right? Don Cornelius really made an impact in the community, you know, our community, when it comes to music, when it comes to dancing, when it comes to performance. And Don Cornelius was not playing with them people. He said everybody is going to sing to the track, and only certain people like Marvin Gaye, I remember, Patti LaBelle, they're going to sing live. The people that I know sing live are going to sing live. The other people we don't know so much, we're going to sing it with the track because we don't want no problems or concerns. Now, Don Cornelius was known to be as people would say, difficult or, a tyrant. But listen, if you're having something that's super special like this, right? And this is like ahead of its game. You had American Bandstand, and even they tried to do a show that was similar to American Bandstand, Soul Train. They cut that out. And I know Clarence Avant had a part to do with that. He cut that out like, you're not going to do that, because Soul Train was going. So other people tried to take a show similar to that. It was called Soul something, but that wasn't going to work. But the impact of Soul Train was huge in my growing up, and still to this day. When you think about Black music and having all of the hottest, think about going Saturday. I remember New Edition. Bobby Brown actually spoke it, manifested, prayed. He told the group, we're going to be on Soul Train one day. And I've heard him say this. They laughed at him like, ain't nobody going to be on Soul Train. Bobby Brown was like, we're going to be on Soul Train one day. And they were on Soul Train multiple times. And all the guests used to love when they said, would you come back and do another song for us later? And they'd be like, yeah. He had the mic, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name? He said, let's give it up for New Edition. You know how he used to do it. Y'all already know how he used to do. Let's give it up. Soul Train was our version of American Bandstand. That's it was. And we danced. We watched American Bandstand too. You had some of the groups that we liked on there, like the Jets, talking about bands in the 80s, like the Jets, that whole family, from, come on now, I got a crush on you, and you got it over him, baby, it's true. Come on now. So those kind of bands that we liked were on American Bandstand. But let me read something. Let me talk about, I think about Midnight Star. Play another slow jam. This time make it sweet. Or no parking, baby. No parking on a dance floor. Ooh, ooh, or wet my whistle. 80s bands talking about Midnight Star. Or the Gap Band transcended from the 70s. We know outstanding. Boy, you knocked me out. He said, girl, you knocked me out. Or what about Entombed? Juicy fruit. Juicy. I can't stand y'all, but yeah, I gotta give you the fit. And then Midnight Star too. Everything I touch turns to gold. You got the Midas to Sky. Sky is on my list. Come on. Object of my desire. Baby, ignite my fire. Oh no, Sky. That's Sky was Call Me if you need someone to talk to. Call me, hey, call me. And Atlantic Star. Let's just talk about Sheila. You brought it up. I was going to talk about it. Let's talk about Atlantic Star. Atlantic Star took over airways in the 80s. Was Secret Lover, come on now, what was my, so many, Always, we both know that I love, come on, think about that. An Object of My Desire was Star Point when I was singing Object of My Desire. Sky was like, call me if you need someone to talk to. But let me just pull up, right, some of the hits of Atlantic Star. I don't think y'all understand. Atlantic Star was everything in the 80s. I want to pull them up. We have, and I'm not talking about when they revised it. They revised it. I remember Touch a Four-Leaf Clover, baby, when you get older. And Let's Get Closer. Or Send For Me. Y'all remember? If you don't remember and y'all young and y'all don't know about this, I'm telling y'all need to look it up. some of the songs. You need to put them on your playlist. I want to talk about some other groups. Let's see who I have on my list. And we already talked about You Dropped a Bomb on Me, baby. We already talked about the Gap Band. We know all of that. Confunction, Love Train. Okay. I'm about to tell you, I'm going to give y'all a hint. It was a group, and the lead singer wore a red right here. And people still do the electric slide to their song right now. I'm going to give y'all a minute. Who am I talking? Sheila got it. Cameo. Come on. Word up. Come on. Remember that? And remember Just Like Candy. And the movie Best Man, when they played Candy at the end and they were doing the electric slide, it was over for Black people. It was the electric slide to Candy, and it was similar to the Soul Train line. You cannot go to a Black wedding typically and not do the electric slide and not have a Soul Train line. It's unorthodox. It's not going to happen much. Somebody is going to say, let's do a Soul Train line, or let's do the electric slide. Yeah, we know the wobble is out. Yup, we know that booty call is out. We know the slide to the Cupid shuffle. We know all of that. But somebody is still going to say, let's do the electric slide and let's play Candy. All my DJs out there, I know when you're playing weddings, I know that's just on the playlist. That's what you want to do. Now, one of my favorite bands in the 80s, outside of New Edition, because you already know I'm saving New Edition for last. If you know me, you know, if you follow me for 5 seconds, you know it's Any for Life over here, right? So you leaving Price? Thank you. Make sure you guys share this out. If you are watching, please share it out. I appreciate y'all. And make sure you come Mondays at 8 p.m. for my new podcast, Remixing Relationships. Oh, we going there. We're going to be stepping on toes. The first episode is about not bringing your ex to your next relationship. Check that out. It's going to be deep. We keep it all the way real. Y'all know how I do. But one of my favorite bands from the 80s outside of New Edition is the SOS band. The SOS. Now, we were talking about the bands that were put together of those things. Let me tell you something about the SOS band. Now, I'm 53 now. When I was 36, somewhere around then, I went to a ski trip, and the performer was the SOS band. And when I tell you, they rocked like nobody's business, like I've never seen. I've been to 1,000 concerts, and they tore that stage up. Just be good to me. I don't care what your other girl. We're going to get into the lyrics, because we're going to get into the lyrics later. Just be good to me. I don't care about the other girls. Just be good to me. Like, you're going to share, but, you know, come on now. And a song I used to sing in 4th grade, didn't even know what I was singing. Baby, we can do it. Take your time. Do it right. We can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Take your time. Why was I singing that at 9? I didn't know, y'all. I didn't know what I was singing. I know what I'm singing now at this big age, but I didn't know what I was singing back then. Think about it, the songs. And Daz Band, let's whip it good, dude. Come on now. Okay. I guess you would consider them a band, or some may say a singing group, but a band, New Edition, outside of the SOS band that had me in the chokehold, a group, was DeBarge. In the 80s, we're celebrating June Black Music Month, y'all. And in the 80s, DeBarge shut everything down. To the beat of the rhythm of the night. Come on. I like the way you comb your hair. I like the stylish clothes you wear. It's just the little things you do that shows how much you really care. Come on. Ooh, Ooh, and I like it. I just saw DeBarge a couple years ago. That voice is still buttery. Okay. So if you listen to 90s and 2000s raps, right? Early 2000s, you're going to hear DeBarge all in it. Their beats all in it. With Bunny DeBarge, Just a Dream, remember? And all this love is waiting for you. And all of the, man, it's so many DeBarge. I could literally be here all day singing DeBarge songs, literally. You know, it's a lot of album cuts that people in time will reveal. Ooh, what can I do? Come on. To show how, come on. The Time Will Reveal. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. It has to be in there. All right, let me get through this because we're not going to make this video super long. Got a few minutes. What about Ready for the World? Oh, Sheila. Come on. In the 80s, Black Music Month, Ready for the World. Come on now. What about Let Me Love You Down? I got one for y'all. Force MDs. Love is a house. You got the key. Come on. Remember that? Come on. Force MDs. Tender love. Let me tell y'all. So I used to make in the 80s, right? Slow jam tapes, fast tapes. And I used to do it back in the 80s. If you know, you had the recorder that was long and you open it up, you put the cassette in there. Come on. And you put it in, you fold, click it back over, you press the play and record, and that's how you recorded from the radio. Their song came on that top 9 at 9 in Jersey. It was Philadelphia's top, 9 at 9 on Power 99 FM. Shout out to Philly. You would push it down, and with Tender Love, I couldn't wait. I put that on the tape, and you could hear the blah, 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 before the song started. So every time I hear Tender Love and another group's song, I think about that, right? So, Ready for the World, Troop, Spread My Wings and Fly Away. And all and on that same Power 9 at 9, they would have guest DJs. Shout out to Power 99. They would have guest DJs that call in. I'm in high school. And you had to give the number 2 song or number 9 song. And I would go, this is Kendall from what did I say? This is Kendall. And the number 2 song is All I Do Is Think of You on Power 99 FM. I got a chance to do that. That was everything because you had to call to do that and be chosen. And I remember I had a number 2 song. I will never forget that in the 80s. All I Do Is Think of You on Power 99 FM. And I was trying to record it. You hear all that background stuff. We had the Burt Castanova. Come on. We talked about Atlantic Star's Circle. Let's think about Ashford and Simpsons. They was doing it way before the 80s. But Solid as a Rock. That's what this love is. Ooh. That's what we got. This was and then we had Shalimars. I talked about Make That Move right now, baby. Sheila, that's on my list. That's part of mine. Guy in the 80s. And I've been talking to Damian Hall from Guy. He has a story, and we've been talking. He's going to be a guest on one of my stay tuned for that. But Damian and Aaron Hall and Teddy Riley, I just saw them in the New Editions tour last year. Honey, they still getting it. They're still doing their thing. And what people don't know is Damian Hall, during that, if you were just with the Legend at the tour, right? Damian Hall had cancer. And when I talked to him after that, I was like, well what now? And he shares his story candidly on his Instagram, but we're going to talk about that. And he was doing his thing. So Guy, I mean, every song, Peace of Mind, Love, I like Grooving. Come on. Just everything when it comes to you can have a piece. Think about the words to these songs. You can have a piece of my love. Who want a piece? Don't you want the whole thing when you're in love? Maybe we should talk about that on remixing relationships. Piece of my love. Come on now. Here's another one. Loose ends. Loose ends. What do they sing? Let me do some trivia. When you think of the group Loose Ends, what song do you think of? Do you think of Slow Down? We'll just put that. What do you think of when you think of Loose Ends? Steady, are you ready? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. We talked about Sky. Mary Jane Girls. In my house, my house. Let's talk about, let's see. And of course, let me just go with New Edition. New Edition in the 80s, all the songs. I don't even have to Stay a Little While, Child. Yes, from Loose Ends. New Edition, do I have to go through all the songs? Y'all know I'm in E for life. I could literally just sit here and do a whole show on New Edition, which I'll do before the month is over or into July. It doesn't matter because I have a playlist literally on my YouTube channel called New Edition News Central. So it's all things New Edition. So if you love New Edition like I do, you got to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the playlist New Edition News Central. You're going to see a lot. But New Edition in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s. New Edition transcended from the time I was 11 to the year I am now. But so many different bands in the 80s, and we can go on and on and on. Yeah, Sheila said, I love New Edition like she loves Prince. And you got a lot of Prince lovers out there, for sure. He's a Gemini like me, Prince. We creative like that, Sheila. But definitely music. June is Black Music Month. It's the month that I was born. It's the month that summer starts. It's a month that's right in the middle of the year. We're midway through this year. Can y'all believe we're midway through this year already? So tell me, I mean, we could go on and on and on with the 80s bands, but tell me what your favorite 80s bands are. Let me know in the comments. Even if you're on Instagram, I would love for you to go over to my YouTube channel. Let me know in the comments what your favorite 80s band is or what your favorite 80s song was. And what does Soul Train mean to you? Did you watch Soul Train all the time? Did you try to dance and do the moves? Who reminds you of Soul Train? We had so many sophisticated, that's the 80s word, sophisticated ladies on Soul Train that were dressing to impress, honey. Going down the Soul Train line, you couldn't be any old body going down that Soul Train line. You had to have a little sass and a little pizzazz, and it had a little. Remember, the lady used to go like this all the way through with her heels. You had to have a little pizzazz, or you had to have that theatrics coming down the Soul Train line. You couldn't just be like, or remember when this was out, the snake come down the Soul Train like this, and then they get all the way down to the ground. Y'all remember that? Like you had to have some type of the guys had little skinny ties and going down. But what was cute is when they brought the guys together, and sometimes they would just go down the Soul Train line in their little see-through outfits or their little, harem pants or doing their thing on Soul Train. Soul Train is a cultural staple. And if you're on YouTube, you got to check out Soul Train's YouTube channel. All the older dancers, and I say older, not in age, but back in the day, all the dancers that were on Soul Train, they have something on YouTube saying when I was a Soul Train dancer. So all your favorite dancers, you'll see that, and you'll see where they are now, and you'll see how they got on Soul Train. It's great. I watch it all the time. I watch it over and over again, but it's great. So some of the people that they'll surprise you on what they're doing now, or some of the celebrities that you know now, they danced on Soul Train. Everybody wanted to do the scramble board. Let's talk about the scramble board real quick. Everybody wanted to do the scramble board, but wondering like, how can you do that scramble board in like two seconds? Of course, they knew who it was first, so they would go and move the scramble board around and put that, and then they start dancing once they do the scramble board. Now, if you were anybody and if you were all that, you would be up on the risers, right? That's where the real stars were. You had the stars down, but when you had them on the risers and it was like, you know, they be popping and getting it and doing this and doing this and doing that and doing that. Think about Soul Train. They were on there doing their own thing. Pop, pop. They was pop locking. They was doing everything on Soul Train. They was up on that risers. That one lady she used to be like this. For her. Y'all remember who I'm talking about? I can picture her right now doing that. And then the Asian lady with the long hair that I talked about earlier, she was like the first Asian person or non-Black, one of the first non-Black to come on. And at first everybody was like, who she thinks she is? Who is she? And she's been on for years. They ended up loving her. And now when a lot of people think about Soul Train in the 80s, they think about her. Price. Price. He just talked about Ultra Sheen Cosmetics. Think about the commercials. Man, on Soul Train, Ultra Sheen was taking over everything. Ultra Sheen Cosmetics, the spray, the oil sheen, the Jerry curl stuff, honey. Ultra Sheen Cosmetics was hands down Soul Train's favorite sponsor. And I remember they had one with like all the little skits and the people using it and doing the hair. Let me tell y'all, Ultra Sheen kept the lights on at Soul Train. That is so funny. You know, Price, you know, it's so funny. And when you think about the Soul Train, you think about all of those commercials and all of the commercials about the CDs. What were those commercials? Remember the CD sets? The CD sets. Remember, they used to always try to sell the CD sets on there. And it was like the Temptations, the Stylistics, and you got all the little the box sets, the not the CD box sets, the cassettes, because there was no CDs. It was the cassette box sets, and you had those. Man, those were the best commercials. The best commercials. Ultra Sheen. Oh, you took me all the way back. I can smell Ultra Sheen now. The Ultra Sheen Cosmetics. See, people don't even realize and understand that they had cosmetics before they had the hair. Can y'all think of any other ones? Let me look up something real quick because this is hilarious. Soul Train commercials. Because it's one I'm thinking. They came up the Soul Train cruise. They even had a cruise, y'all. And because of I don't own the rights, I can't play some of them. Oh, wait.
Soul Train gang, Beverly and Lena. They both have great looking hairstyles, don't they?
Oh, they're talking about the hair. But this was in this one was actually a year I was born. In 1971. They have a commercial. I'm just going to show y'all. I can't play it. They wasn't even, Don Canellis was like, we just going to do what we can do. They both have great looking hairstyles, don't they? And great looking hairstyles start with Ultra Sheen. They was just in the studio. They were doing what they had to do. Johnson & Johnson, yes. Johnson & Johnson was a sponsor on Soul Train. Yes, Sheila, they had the best commercials. I'm trying to find, let me see, in the 80s. Let's see. Let's see, commercials. Let me see. Afro Sheen. Oh yeah, we can't forget the Afro Sheen. Afro Sheen was it. The Afro Sheen and Johnson & Johnson. Yes. But because you know what? But think about how difficult it might have been, right, for Don Cornelius to get sponsors at first, right? And then he got the sponsors, and then starting from Chicago and Johnson, wait a minute, let me see. Where are the commercials? Hold up, let me see something. Because it's a commercial that I have in my head, and I want to see if it's here. I'm going to show you guys. Let me see. Soul Train commercials. Let's see. The 80s. That's what I want to see. Somebody put Soul Glow. Oh, the solid gold. Y'all remember the solid gold collection in the not solid gold the show. That's a whole nother thing. But they had the solid gold album disc that I was talking about. Wait. Oh, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Let's groove to it. And it says soul music got us something, and it was like in the 80s. Let me show you. It looked like this. Look at Rick James. And somebody put Soul Glow. No. Oh, the Body and Soul CD collection. Do y'all remember that? They used to play that all the time. Wait a minute, let me turn this down because I do not want my video muted because I don't own the rights. I'm just going to show y'all. Does this look familiar to y'all? Do y'all remember that commercial? I remember that commercial. Oh my God, they would play it all the time. I wonder what happens if you call that number now. Do y'all remember that commercial? But the 80s was it was a stone gas, honey. Come on. Peace, love, and soul. We was talking about Soul Train, y'all, in groups in the 80s. All right, so we're going to end this now. But again, comment your favorite 80s groups and your songs. And if you watch Soul Train and what Soul Train meant to you, and did you faithfully watch it every single week? Did you have to battle to watch it because a sibling was watching Hulk Hogan and Junkyard Dog back in the 80s at wrestling? And did you dance, or did you sit down and watch Soul Train? I don't know if you could sit down and watch Soul Train, because I was standing up on Soul Train. But, I just want to thank Don Cornelius and the legacy of Soul Train. And now it's going on to have the Soul Train Awards and Soul Train cruises. And, the legacy still stays alive. I didn't like it when it ended in the 2000s. They had Shamar Moore and other actors and people filling in for Don Cornelius as he was getting older and couldn't do it. The 80s was a great time for Soul Train, even though it started in the 70s. It was something about that decade of Soul Train. Anybody that you ever wanted to see, a song that you ever liked on the radio, you were excited to see your group on Soul Train. Like that was huge. That was like a great big deal, to see your people that you loved on Soul Train, or introduced to new people on Soul Train. And when they said, would you come back for another song later, they like, yeah. And everybody's like, he's like, give it up for new edition. And then the train goes, the train to start going through, and then the commercial, and you couldn't wait till the commercial was over so you can see what was dancing, because typically midway through, then that's when the Soul Train line would start. Man, celebrating June in Black Music Month, y'all. Thank you for going down memory lane with me. Please don't be stingy. Share this out to someone who loves music, and whether it's on your social media feeds or sending it to somebody in their inbox or text. I think this was a fun conversation. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kendall Anise, and my new relationship podcast will be premiering There's a soft episode on now on YouTube, and it's on Spotify, Amazon, Audible, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. But the official show will start July 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live. Remixing Relationships. The first episode is about bringing your ex to the next relationship. And we're going to keep it all the way real and talk about that and a whole lot. So don't forget to tune in, y'all. Remember, you are a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. Stay happy, stay blessed, stay well. God bless y'all. Peace. Thank you for commenting live. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining the conversation.